Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us on this very special edition of the Dieting Dietitian. Today I have with me the owner of AOR, Traj. Before we get into your company and all the amazing things you do, can you tell us what AOR stands for?
AOR stands for Advanced Orthomolecular Research. And the word orthomolecular often gets people confused at what does it mean. And the word was actually coined by Linus Pauling, the great Linus Pauling, 2 times Nobel Prize winner in 1968. And what he said was orthomolecular meant the right molecule. Okay. And since then, we've actually modified the definition of the right molecule to the 4 R's. The right molecule, at the right place, in the right dose, at the right time.
And that to me is important because you see a lot of supplements out there and they just put in an ingredient just to have the name on it. They're not doing a therapeutic dose. That's what your body needs to nourish it. I mean, and that's your whole goal, is to give people exactly what they need with clinical research. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. In order to get a clinical effect, a therapeutic effect, you need to be true to the science. And a lot of this is published, and you have to be true to the plant material you use, the actual dose you use, and you can't just sprinkle on ingredients so that they look very impressive on the label, yet they're not doing anything clinically effective. And that is one thing that is why a lot of the clinical studies fail. When people use a product and it wasn't in the right dosage, wasn't in the right delivery format, it's not going to do anything. And that is what, unfortunately, studies fail.
So, how did you get into the nutritional health business, the natural health business?
Yeah, actually quite by accident. I came over from the UK where I grew up and studied, and I came as a pharmacist to Canada. And very quickly I opened my pharmacy. The pharmacy wasn't doing very well. I had a lot of spare time on my hands. And fortunately there were 3 medical doctors in this very obscure place where I had my pharmacy that were practicing nutritional medicine, which was very odd. So I used to get prescriptions for things like gold chloride drops, silver bromide, which I had no idea. Anyways, what that led on to me was to do more compounding work. And from the compounding work, I learned there was an AIDS community at the time in the early 90s. And that's what led me to actually formulate the AOR line.
Really? That's incredible. So you were like almost a Dallas Buyers Club for Canada.
Indeed. Nobody's going to make a movie about me just as well, but that is true. I think I started Canada's first Buyers Club specifically for the PWA and the AIDS community in 1991. And the idea was the word got out that there is this nutritional pharmacy in Ontario, and the AIDS community picked that up, and they would get a lot of calls from Toronto and saying, well, we want these compounds, CoQ10, which was unique in those days, zinc chloride, high doses of zinc, selenium, vitamin C, as well as underground stuff people couldn't get hold of. And one of them was this photographic material that they would apply to their skin, and that would cause a rash, and the rash elicited an immune reaction, boosted their immune system. So because of that, I was able to develop formulations. That was my grounding in formulation.
Okay, very cool. So we're talking about formulations. You have, in my opinion, some of the most unique formulas on the market right now. They're so well put together. And we talked about this earlier as well. When you look at a formula, how does it come to be? How do you shape it into something that's so unique but still so therapeutic?
Yeah, so my training has been as a researcher. I had my PhD in London in liver pathology. So I was used to looking at and reviewing the literature. And there's a lot of literature out there on nutritional ingredients that's published. One has to just focus on it, look at it objectively, see if it can lead to a product. So that is the basis of the starting point of how you develop formulation. Always being true to science.
Okay, very nice. Now, there are lots of different formulas you have, lots of different products. Is there one in particular you're like, you know what, I love CoQ10 for this. I love this formula that I made. There's something that's like your personal favorite.
Yeah, I think my personal favorite nowadays, I mean, I had a lot of personal favorites. It's like asking movie questions. My personal favorite is something called Gastro Relief. Gastro Relief is a product designed for GERD, which is gastric reflux, which a lot of people unfortunately have due to the muscle that is weak, so you get acid reflux. But in addition, it also has ingredients that tackle the cause of that GERD and peptic ulcers, which you develop, which is H. pylori. So the formula is quite unique, I believe, in a number of manners. One is there's a damage to the gut lining. That's why we feel peptic ulcers in that. There is a microbe that is attacking and eating away. So our ingredients attack the microbe, kills it, it restores the lining, and prevent the gastric reflux coming up. So I think it's a very special formula, works very, very quickly. I would say that would be my personal.
That's one of my 3 favorites from you guys. That, I love the CogniQ, which is 300 milligrams of CoQ10 with 20 milligrams PQQ.
Yes.
Awesome research behind that. And then the Orthomolecular, which also has, in addition to CoQ10, alpha-lipoic acid.
Yes, Bacopa.
Yes,
and acetylcarnitine.
Then acetylcarnitine, and then choline, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. I have some mild tension problems. I love doing those products together. It's awesome. Do you have anything you want to share with my viewers? Like you talked about, I want supplements that people can get results off of, as quick as possible.
Indeed. Yeah, I think if you're going to be into the formulation world, you want formulations that are effective. And being true to the science is one way of maintaining or developing formulations that work effectively and people feel the difference. And at the end of the day, I do believe that we have to honor that. The saying is, a rising tide raises all boats. By doing research, just as the pharma industry does, I think we can elevate the level of our industry so that it becomes legitimate in the eyes of regulators, in the eyes of the pharmaceutical industry, in the eyes of Health FDA, Health Canada, in the eyes of consumers, in the eyes of the practitioners.
Now, before I let you go, you talk about the pharma industry, you talk about quality. What do you do to make sure the ingredients you get are the highest quality?
So in Canada, we have different regulations where we are inspected by regulators, which is the Health Canada. They come and inspect, and then they give you a license. So they make sure that you're following full GMP, which is good manufacturing practices, as per the pharmaceutical industry. Plus also when we do receive ingredients, we have to be true to test them for heavy metals, test them for pesticides, test them for solvents, test them for the potency, and that's how you ensure that you're using the right ingredient.
So you make sure that everything that you get in will do what you want it to, and there's no like pesticides, heavy metals, and other kind of possible toxins, so that when someone takes it, they are getting something that's completely clean and healthy for their body, no contaminants.
Indeed. I mean, otherwise I think if we don't follow that practice, we will fall into the trap of the product not working, right? Or worse still, causing some sort of a side effects, which is not good. But following those practices, which is mandated, by the way, Health Canada, we have to abide by that, and I think this is a good thing. That's raising the level of our industry. I
completely agree. Well, I really appreciate it, Dr. Traj. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please check out my Instagram, Dieting Dietitian. AOR also has an awesome Instagram. Is it just AOR US or AOR underscore? I check it out every day. I love looking and seeing what they're talking about. So please check it out and then have a great day. Thank you guys. Goodbye.
Thank you.